Thank you very much for being here with us. I want you to be part of this large family called Strathmore, with some good ideas, making things happen somewhere, such that I hope we leave this world a better one when we go.
I personally believe that people need to experience climate protection as a direct improvement to their lives. If they see that a result of a climate policy is experienced as a concrete benefit, this might lead in a medium to longer term to a general more acceptance of climate change when we talk about a more abstract way or in a more global context.
For democracy to deliver, it has to be contextual in practice. For it to deliver, it has to be contextual, socially, culturally, and politically. At the moment, we can't run away from the issues around climate change, the issues around natural resource governance. If we are actually to talk about democracy, just not in Africa, but in the globe in general.
As the world grapples with the increasing evident impacts of climate change, the importance of harnessing all the tools we have to address climate change really cannot be overemphasized, and more so in Africa. We need to ask ourselves, what does deliberative democracy bring to the table? What is the value add of deliberative democracy? So if you're asking communities to explore this option for thinking about climate action, if you're asking governments to put resources into this process, if you're asking politicians to stand behind these new processes, I think the logical question is why? What does it bring to the table?
Deliberation is not a one-way street. It's not coming from the global north to the global south or from the global south to the global north. It's something that the human nature and the human condition is designed to deliberate. And scholars like Annie and Kwasi Redu and Matilina have written largely about this, particularly in the African context, where they talk about consensus democracy, which has roots in African traditional governance and is very, very similar to what we see in deliberative democracy.
Climate deliberation is not being built on an empty space in Africa and in general in the global south. There are traditions, there are practices that we can use as a start with all those considerations that Brenda was making.
It's the civil society organizations that are able to speak on behalf of these voiceless communities, and they're able to raise and bring to the attention of the policymakers, the parliamentarians, the ministers, the decision makers, in terms of the effects of climate change to those communities.
Although deliberative practices, as Dr. Ibawa said, does exist in our context, it is very rare that we find it labeled specifically as climate assemblies. And there's sort of this wave of deliberation spreading across the world, and we really saw an opportunity and a gap there for us to jump in and investigate how we as South Africa and as Africa can jump on this deliberative wave.